Hello, and yes, this is a motorcycle, not a car. Specifically, it's the brand new Norton Manx R Signature Edition, and it's gorgeous. If you've joined because you are a biker, you are going to want to hear about this bike. But if you're watching this because you're not a biker, but you watch the car stuff we usually do on DRIVETRIBE, thank you, but also well done, because this bike has a story to tell that's as relevant to you on four wheels as to anybody on two. Because the bike world really is a mirror of the car world, but with focused intensity. So to tell that story, I'm going to go for a ride on it. Oh no. Of course, this has now got very biker. It's like every Sunday. Let me just check. I'm in Wales. Do you know what? We could get away with it. But I'm going to risk it anyway, because I can't resist this. So, what is it, this Norton with a tale to tell? There are four versions: the super exclusive first edition, this, the signature edition, below that the Apex, and below that the Manx R. All of them come with an entirely new V4 engine. 1200cc, 206 horsepower, 130 newton meters of torque. It's a lot of grunt in a bike. Norton's engineers wanted to find out not only how to make a great halo bike, but how riders can get the best out of it. So they rode over 200,000 kilometers on competitor bikes, Ducati, Aprilia, BMW, to find out what works and what doesn't, and found what they hope is the right balance between power and experience. They also find out most people who ride this sort of thing rarely use full throttle. So here, 75% peak torque comes at 5,000 RPM. So I don't have to rinse it to the 11,500 RPM red line and risk arrest. You can if you want to, though, obviously. Norton set out to build this as a road bike. It's not a race bike. That means they didn't have to homologate it. That means they can go berserk with engine power, fancy suspension, fancy brakes. They can give it on this, the top spec edition, every bit of jewelry you can imagine having on a motorcycle. It also means they've set it up to be used on the road. Go out on a modern, fully focused track bike and it's like riding a fence rail. This though has a little bit of flex, a little bit of give. But straight away I'm going to do the thing that bikers most often like to do. I'm going to have a cup of tea whilst looking at my bike. Now we're biking. Mug of tea, sheltering from the rain, telling stories. Speaking of which, the story this Norton has to tell. Well, it's a big one. Always had a slightly bad boy image to my mind, but that's maybe because my older cousin Martin rode a Norton Commando back in the day. The Manx R is the first mass-produced Norton since 2010, and it has a big job on its hands. Not just because I've been trusted as the first journalist to ride it in the UK, which means it could get broken, but more importantly, if it's brilliant, one of Britain's most famous bike manufacturers stands a chance of getting back on top. See, Norton got its start making bicycles, very good ones, in the late 1800s, and released its first motorcycle in 1902. And right off the bat, its bikes were brilliant. As well as almost immediately winning the Isle of Man TT, everything it entered, it won. Thing is, as good as it was at making bikes, it was proportionally bad at business. Money worries, false starts, the whole lot. Norton was a shadow of its former self. In their defence, it wasn't entirely Norton's fault, because the British motorcycle industry by the late 60s was getting a bit flabby and a bit arrogant. Their bikes were a bit old, a bit underdeveloped. And when the Japanese popped up and took an interest, the British motorcycle industry simply said, "Wow, all those chaps know about building bikes. We know what we're doing. Let's just carry on building them the way we do. No need to change anything." And the Japanese, meanwhile, had a look around and thought, well, wait a minute, we'd like a piece of this. Why don't we make better looking bikes that work better and are cheaper? So they did. And very, very quickly, the British motorcycle industry pretty much vanished, Norton included. They struggled on, had a few little resurgences, the name came back, most famously 2008, when they came back with some good bikes, revived an old name, the Commando. I actually bought one. Rumours abounded of company pension funds being used to prop up the business, which is exactly the sort of thing that really annoys business people and company pensioners. A lot of people didn't get the bikes they'd ordered.
Where's the money gone, Stuart Garner?
This, though, is an entirely new resurgence, backed by 200 million quid from a new parent company, and you can tell. It looks unlike anything else, actually. And it needs to, because in the world of bikes, you're not buying a practical proposition, you're not buying a machine to take the kids to school and you to work. You're buying a dream. So it's got to have appeal, it's got to have desirability if it's going to coax your money from you. And now, as it's just about stopping raining, we can probably go and find out if that's the case here.
Yeah, there's only so much tea drinking I need to do when I'm out on the bike. Well, I'm not going to claim to be a motorcycle tester. I'm an amateur, a hobbyist. Been riding them for 40 years, for fun and nothing else. Being a biker, I've done what all bikers do, and read around it. You do. New bike comes out, what's everybody saying? What do they think? And the overarching opinions on this one from the racer boys are that, yeah, it's good. It's got a very short chassis, and that combined with the setup might mean it's not as easy to get a really fast lap on a track. All of that said, this is still a very clever machine. It's a modern bike. So as well as very sophisticated semi-active suspension with a potentiometer built into the fork at the top, it means the front and back end are talking to each other. Also, the electronics have wheelie control. I could, if I so chose and were capable of, without screaming, pop a gigantic wheelie now and adjust the height to what I wanted it to be. That would be illegal and scary, so I shan't.
The V4 motor is made in India and sent over to be assembled with the rest of the bike in Solihull, where I was born. Norton remains British and is sticking to its roots. That's why the Manx R is so important. It's got to keep the British end up and take on the likes of the Ducati Panigale V4, Honda CBR 1000RR RSP, and the BMW S1000RR, the really big stuff. And it's got to win.
Only criticism, and I've heard this said elsewhere, the foot pegs are quite high and quite a long way back. Not too much of a problem for me because, I don't have much in the way of leg to fold up and tuck away. But if you're a taller rider, I think you'll feel it, or do a bit of that, which we all see sports bike riders do.
I haven't ridden them all or crunched the numbers, but there probably are faster track bikes out there. That's because Norton didn't build it as a track bike. There are cheaper bikes out there that are probably as fast, but they didn't build it as a cheap bike either. They built this from the ground up as an object of desire. And when I said at the beginning that this bike has a story to tell that's relevant whether you're into 2 wheels or 4, it kind of lies there. Substitute 4 wheels for 2 and the Chinese car industry for the Japanese bike industry back in the day, and you can see it could happen all again. So I think European car manufacturers are going to have to take a leaf out of Norton's book. People are still making wonderful, exciting, desirable things. That's to be celebrated. I'm going to ride it again in a bit, but first I'm just going to have a bit more of a look at it. And you can do the same. Soak it in.